Ladies and gentlemen,
hello, party people.
it's a very, very, very special episode of Monday Sucks.
Monday sucks.
Monday Sucks.
Monday sucks. Indeed.
Monday Sucks.
It sucks a little less right now.
It definitely sucks a little less right now. We're here in the lovely,
We're live.
the lovely Speakeasy
We're live. We
At-
are live.
Peerless
Fearless.
with
That's where we are.
the one and only Caleb,
The man, the myth,
the man, the myth, the legend.
himself. Should we try IG? See if it's going to get us far?
I mean, you could try it.
Right.
Might as well. See
Okay.
what happens.
All right, let's see. We are going live. All right, let's see. We never know.
Never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, Monday sucks.
Thanks for stopping by. If you're watching the
If you're
recast,
watching,
appreciate
right? Monday sucks.
you. This was this kind of came together all the last minute, so
We are here.
please bear with us as we catch up. We had to get the show rolling so it wouldn't kick us off.
Fearless live. All right, let's try it.
Here we go. Look at that.
We are on.
We're on.
We are on.
There you go.
We are live. Look at that. We are live. Let me flip this.
Here, use this one.
Look at that. We are live. We are all live. So whatever you are in the world, you cannot claim you don't see us because we are live. This is gonna be a little more tight, but you guys can see a little bit of us. We will show you Caleb because he's the life of the party.
There
So
you go.
we'll show y'all Caleb is here. And if you don't see everybody's right now, just make sure you go on YouTube. You can see better on Facebook. You can see us.
Mhm.
We're here. We are live. We're here with Caleb. We are Peerless. Wave. We're here at Peerless. Caleb, welcome to Monday Sucks.
Hey, thanks for having me.
How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
How was your day? We're gonna be adjusting lights because apparently I don't appear in the dark. So you guys need to make sure that a little bit. Yep, much better.
Better?
Eventually, by the time we're done, I'm gonna appear in this weather. But Caleb is here.
Uh-huh.
What are you for Peerless, Caleb? Tell us.
I am the master distiller for the brand.
Okay.
So I get to work along with the family, along with the other team members here at Peerless to make sure that we produce a product that's worthy of the Peerless name.
Okay. Tell us about Peerless. I mean, we know about Peerless because we are here.
Yes.
But tell us about Peerless.
So to many people, they hear Peerless and they think that it is a new brand that's hitting the market. We're
Mhm.
hitting some nice awards. We're getting some pull through on the shelf. Oh, are we going to go ahead and pour?
Oh, we start every good conversation.
You gotta have some
Well,
whiskey in front of
Keep
you.
telling us.
Let's standardize. Let's do one or the other.
Yes.
That way, let's try hot toddy first.
Okay,
yeah.
Because this one's dessert.
Okay.
Pour some hot toddy.
Okay.
I done drained that bottle, so I want
Welcome.
y'all to have some
Welcome.
So here you go. So
Yeah.
even though Peerless, for all intents and purposes, many believe that it is a new brand, it's actually a revival of a really old one.
Okay.
So Peerless was owned and operated from 1889 until 1917 by a man named Henry Craver. And that was in Henderson, Kentucky. It was about 2 hours downriver from here.
Mhm.
So he made his living selling premium whiskey. It was titled Peerless. But over time, when it got around to the First World War, I got to get a little sip.
It's a hot toddy. Look at this cool ass glass. Look at that. Look at this cool ass glass. If you don't see it, look at that. Just cool ass glass.
During the height of the First World War, it was more important for them to take grain and feed civilians and
Sure.
troops and the different people around the world. So they ceased production of whiskey.
Mhm.
Henry Craver, he voluntarily did this. He shut down production. Prohibition came around. He continued selling off his aging inventory as a medicinal spirit. But eventually, without him having a new source of whiskey to replenish his inventory, the cupboard ran bare. The brand went dormant and stayed within the family for 98 years until the original owner's great-grandson, a man named Corky Taylor, along with his son Carson Taylor, decided to self-fund and rebuild the distillery. Now in Louisville, Kentucky, the family had since moved to Louisville, and we joined our point as kind of the western anchor of Whiskey Row, which is Main Street here in Louisville, Kentucky.
Mm.
So yeah, we started production back in 2015. we rolled out with a 2-year-old rye whiskey in 2017 that netted us number 15 whiskey in the world with Whiskey Advocate, Whiskey of the Year. We're the highest ranked rye to make the list, and so that was pretty awesome. Also the youngest distiller to make the list, so that was kind of a fun little personal accolade. Not that it was a hard mark to hit among the ones that were on it.
Yeah.
But we've never looked back. We started off with our again rye in 2017. It was the first in 98 years. Or I'm sorry, first in 100 years.
First in 100 years, I was going to say.
Yeah, it was 98 years till we produced. I'm sorry, getting my dates. But we started with our bourbon in 2019. And as we went, we eventually built age and prestige on each. So the barrel of, this is kind of a Monday Sucks exclusive. We just processed our first barrel of 6-year-old bourbon that was actually a double oak.
Oh,
and that is a gift shop single barrel pick. So what we're sampling, what we've tasted with the hot toddy and the 2 that they've brought, and I'll throw a few more in here as well, are single barrel picks that we've selected for a gift shop. The majority of our single barrels are going to go to amazing locations, places like Westport Wine Whiskey, Total Wine & More, Liquor Barn, as well as different.
I was at the Silver Dollar.
Silver Dollar has a single barrel pick.
I saw one of your single barrel picks there.
We have picks all over the place, and it's just really special to be offering these different notes of Kentucky Peerless. Our small batch is meant to be balanced. It's meant to showcase these notes and be a well-rounded, somewhat reproducible experience. But with the single barrels, I purposely want those to be on the far periphery of the flavor wheel, showcasing these really, real different notes. So the first one that we're trying today is a barrel named Hot Toddy.
Hot Toddy. You guys give interest name also to your barrels.
Well, what we do is we sit down, we taste it, we see what we experience, and then we figure out how we could share that with a creative name.
That is true.
So this one had this nice citrus, this herbal tea quality to it, and it reminded us of the classic cure-all, the Hot Toddy. In addition to having a substantial amount of bourbon and some citrus and other things, it was good for a cough, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So how long have you been a master distiller?
So let's see. It would have been right at the beginning of 2019 was when I accepted the title.
Oh,
I'd actually pushed back on it for some time. Me, Carson, Corky, the family ownership, and the team here have a great, great reverence for the title Master Distiller. And even though I was doing the job of one, prior to that, it wasn't something I was comfortable with. To be honest, I'm still not comfortable with it because my heroes are master distillers. I mean, when you talk about people like Jimmy Russell and Jim Rutledge and these industry icons, I mean, it's not just a position within a business; it's a position within the industry.
Sure.
So yeah, I was pretty steadfast that I was going to be head distiller until something happened. And when we first launched with the 2-year-old rye that netted us the Whiskey Advocate Award, the following year we were number 4 American whiskey with Forbes. Year after that, 2019, we actually won Global Craft Producer of the Year. And we'd already won North America. We're on our way to accept the global one, and that was when Carson and Corky, I guess, had enough of my humility. And at our company Christmas party, they presented me with a giant stainless steel placard that said Caleb Kilburn, Master Distiller. And I accepted.
Is
that how they told you?
I'm the youngest that we know.
The youngest, right?
Yep.
Is that how they told you with a plaque?
Yep. With a plaque. Oh, it was at the company Christmas party. And every year we would get together at Corky's house and we'd have a good time and we'd eat hors d'oeuvres. And typically we'll have a really fun game of White Elephant or Dirty Santa or whatever you want to call it, where we all bring junk and gag gifts and exchange them. But right before that went off, I was there. I thought it was strange that they had invited my parents, but I didn't think anything of it because that's the kind of man Corky is. He's all about bringing family together. My fiance was there, and then, she was then fiance. No, I hadn't even put a ring on it. My girlfriend, soon to be fiance, now wife, was with me. and they presented me with that placard right before we started the gift exchange, and I cried, they cried, everybody cried.
It
was just
happy tears.
I mean, it's the dream. It was what I was dreaming of, and we pulled it off. Nice. And it wasn't just, in my mind, it wasn't just a me thing. It was us as a company, for us to be able to get to a point where we were comfortable with someone in this establishment holding that title. Is not a me accomplishment. That's the morning cooker, the evening distiller. It's everyone in between. It's the tasters. It's the tour guides. It's Carson Corky. It was just an amazing experience for everybody to be able to come together and kind of accept that as a group.
That's very cool. That's very cool. So we are talking. Well, let's scratch that. We're not peerless. We're talking to the youngest master distiller.
Yep.
Known by us so far in the world. I would say it now. I don't think I've seen a master distiller as young as you. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I will be 29 September.
Yep.
Or no, I'm 29 currently. I'll be 30 September.
Yep. That's it. That's it. So I'm gonna start with the question. Somebody's asked, and that actually segue. It seemed like you guys' signature at Peerless is 100% about your single barrels. Like, I don't think I've been anywhere. I was in the middle of South Dakota.
Okay.
And I'm at a Hy-Vee. And the girl comes to me. She goes, "Oh, we have this amazing new single barrel." And I go, "Oh, okay." And she pulled out a little tiny bottle of Peerless. I'm like, "What's Peerless doing here in South Dakota?" And she was like, "Oh, this is so good. We chose this at all the Hy-Vee here in South Dakota, Sioux Falls, and them have it." I'm like, I know what brand it is. It's cool. It's cool. Yeah, I don't know why you guys have it here, but okay. It's like, it just got here. We people are loving it. So it seemed like your single barrel is kind of your signature. Somebody asked, do you name all your single barrels?
All the ones that we release here in the gift shop, we name. We're happy to help provide notes or ideas or brainstorm to name the barrels that go outside of here. But those are the ones that we have to respect the one who's partnering. Mm-hmm. Some liquor stores are going to go through the selection process and say this is barrel 1 or barrel 2 or barrel 3 or however many they've selected. Some of them will put their own quirky little turn on it, or they'll have an inside joke. Occasionally, we will have to say no. We can't put that on the side of our bottle. As you can imagine, when someone sits down in a room such as this, we are in the speakeasy here at Kentucky Peerless. When they get in here and they get a little too relaxed and have tried a few too many barrels, you can only imagine the names of
things that people
come up with.
Yeah. And choosing single barrel names are probably the most fun part of it.
It's one of them.
You know, funny thing is, first time I came in, I saw your curator, right? The first person I ever met from Peerless was John Wadle. Yeah, Wadle. Yep. And funny thing is, when I met him, he was showing me your single barrels. But the way he was showing it to me, it's like, we got the Hot Taddy, he wasn't saying what it
actually was.
He was just giving me the name of what they are. As at the end, I'm like, this is all names. Most people would tell you, this is this barrel, and we did this and this to it, but it was more like name and fun thing, just kind of to tell you this is what we called it, and that's it, right? So.
And
that makes you special.
For clarity, these are not special finishes. These are not special parts of the rick house.
I'm just about to ask that.
Yeah,
that was my next question. But Alan Bishop wants you to know that he has a plaque also.
Oh yeah,
that's a masturbator.
Who is this?
Alan Bishop, a distiller of Spirits of French Lick.
And he is a master angler. I assume you're talking about fishing.
So he's a distiller as well. He's their master distiller.
Yep. No, he's a great guy.
Yeah. So he's like, I have a big plaque that your say master distiller, his say masturbator. That's Alan for you.
That's
Alan. We can't let him anyway. But. The one thing I want to ask is, what's your process? What's your process here at the distillery? Okay. So, average person want to know how the whiskey's made, which type of grain, or give me a little bit of the process.
Okay. So the foundation, again, for everything that we do is, of course, the family history, family heritage. And with that in mind, there wasn't a recipe left over. There wasn't a set proof. There wasn't a mash bill. There wasn't ferment at this temperature and distill at this proof. Instead, all that remained of the original Peerless was this promise of quality. So when Corky had entrusted me with recreating what the Peerless flavor profile, what our anchor points were going to be, it wasn't how was it done. It wasn't what's the way everyone else does it. Instead, it's how can you make the best whiskey? He entrusted it to me. I was 23 at the time. I have no idea why he trusted me.
And it seemed the whole Peerless staff actually is very young.
Yeah.
You guys are the hip ones. You go to a distillery and you see most of people that are of age, and but your staff is quite very, very young. Guido is quite young, everybody on front quite young. Was it intentional, you think? Or
when we sought out to do this, it's a lot easier to find someone who has passion, someone who has interest and drive. Even if they have no experience, it's a lot easier for me to teach somebody about distilling or whiskey curation or anything in between than it is for me to teach them work ethic or passion or how to show up with a smile on your face, just ready to
do it.
Kick butt and take names. Yeah. So that we are a younger staff, but we are pretty
mighty.
We're older.
Mighty.
We're
young
older,
and mighty.
Young and mighty. Old souls. So with all this in mind, when we started, right off the bat, we chose to do sweet mash. A lot of the practices that I'll be talking about are accrued from my time shadowing different distillers, different cookers, pulling concepts from different industries. They really did entrust me to come up with this. So
at 23, by the way.
Yes, the sharpest break from anything in the industry is the fact that we use a sweet mash.
Okay.
Now, a little background: everyone has heard sour mash because that is the standard. That's how it's been made for 150 years, and there's a good reason. When you look back 150 years ago, they didn't have quite the same understanding of microbiology that we have now. They knew that if I took a piece of a prior fermentation and used as a starter for the next, if I took stillage as backset to replace some of the water, I knew that it would be more reproducible than if I didn't. Because if you started with cooked fresh ingredients and have nothing as a starter, nothing to contribute acidity, it would have a very high spoilage rate. Well, now that we understand how and why sour mash works, as well as how yeast can be cultivated, how it can be purified, cleaned, and ready to be produced, we have a little bit of a leg up now. So again, sour mash. Take a piece of a prior. It's similar to a sourdough bread where you have the mother to serve as a starter.
Yeah.
And when sourdough bread has that distinctive sour
note,
while it's great in your French toast or on a sandwich, when you distill it, it can become very concentrated and very off-putting. And so traditionally, a sour mash whiskey has to be distilled at a higher proof to help clean it up. It's going to strip some of that flavor out.
Okay.
But in doing so, it's also going to strip out some of the grains, some of the yeast, some of the fruits, some of the flour. It's going to strip some out. And additionally, because it's distilled at a higher proof, you have to add more water to get it down and ready to go into the barrel. So you distill more neutral, you cut out flavors you don't want to, and then you have to water it down further. So those are some aspects of sour mash that I don't like. Now, politically correct answer, I have to say, there's a lot of really, really good whiskey made by using sour mash. And that's not just politically correct, it's the truth. I mean, when you taste any of these heritage brands, they are built on a sour mash profile.
Sure.
But when you look at having preserved brand identity, preserve these flavors, these notes, there really isn't a scenario where a established brand who's established their note of a sour mash whiskey can make the change to sweet mash. So that's why everyone does it. They've had the same profile running since the 40s, and there's not really a opening for them to do a dramatic shift. Whereas we were starting from scratch, I was able to pick and choose.
Absolutely.
So by starting with sweet mash, getting back around to it, when you talk about starting with sweet mash, you start with fresh corn, fresh rye, fresh barley, first generation yeast, 100% water. You don't do any backset or anything to alter or change.
Mm-hmm.
So
So the way I explain, or maybe the mundane way to explain this,
Yes.
is like making bread.
Yes.
You know, I was explaining, I posted sometime that rare distilleries can claim to be sweet mash.
Yes.
Most distillery can claim to be sour mash.
I know of 3.
Correct, right?
Yeah.
But if you sour mash is like think of your grandma. She comes, you just bought your new bride. She's like, "Hey, sweetie, here's how we make our bread in our family.
Okay.
There's a little jar. This your starter. Merry Christmas.
Right? Keep it alive
Correct.
from now on.
Correct. And then you have your brother that bring his wife, and grandma about to hand her that. She go, "Oh no, I make my bread from scratch. Yeah, I like to know my yeast.
Yep.
My thank you, grandma, but that's how I like to make my bread because in our house we don't have stouter. That's how we do it. So when people come in and the style of doing this is like when in your house you always made your bread from scratch, and in the other house it's an honor to get grandma or auntie or anybody's sourdough starter to be able to keep going and keep doing it over and over.
Oh, and again, it is beautiful the way that is done. But for us, by starting with fresh ingredients, we produce this very sweet, very floral beer that doesn't have that sour mash note. So when we go to distill it, now all of a sudden, because I'm not having to clean up that sour mash note, instead of distilling around 140 or 145, a lot of times we're coming in below 130.
Wow.
Okay, so it's like a 10, 15 proof point swing, which is massive. Because now not only are we getting a ton more flavor out of the distillate, we're not having to add stupid amounts of water to dilute it. And that kind of brings us to kind of where we're looking at next. So the sweet mashing is this kind of newer technology.
Yeah.
When we talk about our barrel entry proof, we're actually going old school. So when you look at the landscape of whiskey, it can be put in the barrel as high as 125 proof. And it wasn't always that case. It wasn't always that way. When you look back to when Henry Craver would have been making whiskey, everything you do would have to be 110 proof or lower. And it's just for the simple reason they wanted to make a full, robust whiskey. Now you're jumping onto a new pour. Have you tried the bourbon cola float before?
No, never.
No, well, try it.
It's so you pretty much set to kind of build your own legacy.
Yes.
Into this making of this bourbon, is that you really wanted to make it so unique to you guys that everybody can taste Peerless and go, I know that's Peerless.
Yeah. Well, and again, when we were sitting down, it wasn't intentionally to be similar or intentionally to be different. It was, what things do we feel will make really good whiskey?
Sure.
Some of those things, like everyone likes having a temperature controlled fermentation because it helps produce a very consistent beer. That's something a lot of people do. We are not being arbitrary just for the sake of arbitrary, saying, no, we're going to do
something different.
Instead, it's what checks the box of us feeling like this makes our end product better.
So how many of those, when you actually have one run of your sweet mash,
yes,
how many of those barrels goes into the single barrel program? How many would you say?
So if we were to say, let's say hypothetically in the day we made 10 barrels. At first review, which is usually around 4.5 years old, I'm going to say about 4 to 6 of them typically will get pushed back.
Wow.
As in saying, we don't think it has reached its full potential yet.
Okay.
So let's just average out, say 5.
Okay.
So we got 5 barrels then that we say, okay, these are Peerless caliber. They are ready. They're mature. Now, where do they fit within our program? I'll say 3 of them are going to have really good portions to them, but they're going to be a little flat in areas. So they may have an amazing nose, but a little bit of a dull palate. Or it may have an amazing palate and the mouth feels kind of weak. Or maybe the finish was just a little too brief. There's just something that doesn't satisfy everything we want to see within a barrel, to stand alone. So the way that we're going to work around this is those barrels become the base for our small batch. What we'll do is we'll find barrels that are be complementary in nature, finding ones that have different strengths to complement others' weaknesses. So the resulting product is going to be better than any individual barrel that goes into it. That is their small batching program.
Yeah.
So of the 5 that we accept, I'm going to say 3 of them are going to go for that.
It's a small batch, yeah.
So then you end up with, 2 that are single barrel quality, because these are going to be ones that don't have any lulls. It's going to be full and flavorful and bold, and just throughout is just amazing. So we're talking about 20% of the barrel population here.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But then you have to realize, as we're making that small batch, we're going to end up plucking some of those single barrels to put into it to help brighten it, fill holes, spots, to really make that small batch.
Create that true small batch.
The single barrels get a lot of buzz. The small batch is the base of our brand.
You guys. So I'm assuming, do you guys have a blender, or you also the blender? You are the distiller and the blender.
I distill, I mingle, I pick single barrels. I get to do a little bit of everything.
Okay.
If I ask nice, they even let me on podcasts.
They don't keep you just in the back of the room to just make the whiskey.
So the barrels that make it through all this cuts, usually it's around only 10% of our barrel population, have the opportunity to become a single barrel. Okay. And I say opportunity because even some of those we end up pulling back. So we'll go through, we'll taste, we'll evaluate. Is it special? Because when you do a single barrel selection, we have a philosophy here. We don't want to roll out random barrels in front of people because they might get a barrel that's subpar, not the quality we want to portray. We don't want to over curate to the point where every one of them tastes the same and say this is the brand identity.
I can name a few brands that did that.
And it's so boring, isn't it?
It is boring.
So for me, and again, everybody has to make a living. That's their decision.
Yeah,
I'll respect it. But for me, I want when someone picks up a single barrel bourbon or a single barrel rye for Kentucky Peerless, every single time I want it to be a brand new experience, something exciting. I want you calling him and saying like, "Hey, have you got a hold of? You got to try this."
and that's really something I got to give y'all. So somebody asked somebody asked a question, what makes you guys special? And I would say is a choice of barrels that you guys have, because honestly, I truly believe that you guys I don't know what team you have to pick these barrels and who does it, but
so the way we
they are
go
so
about
unique. I don't think I've seen barrel picks so unique out of anywhere than out of Peerless. They're so weird in so many ways that you go, if in a blind taste you decide to actually go against Peerless, chances are you're gonna lose, because you'll be like, I know my small batch, I know what I drink, and then they serve you something, and you're like, oh hell, what is that at?
We truly do have something for everyone. I have some friends, some family members who aren't typically higher proof or more complex palates. All of a sudden, they get a hold of something Dolce, which is one that you actually brought in, which is just caramel bomb, it's sweet, it's buttery, it's dessert in a glass.
We are, guys, we are not trying the bourbon cola float. I will tell you right now, if you are anywhere in Kentucky and walking a whiskey roll, it will be a shame if you don't stop by here at Peerless. It's at the end of whiskey roll, so you're probably, it helps you walk all the alcohol away from any tasting you've done. By the time you hear your sober again, so you can actually taste all that. But when you come, you can actually have a flight of your single barrel. And
our standard tour offers 4 single barrels.
And I'm telling you right now, chances are you're gonna have it and then turn around and say, "I'm so mad at y'all because there's none left in the shelf." Because I remember the first time I came to Peerless and I taste something and I'm like, "Oh, this is amazing." I'm like, "Oh, can I buy a bottle?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, that's gone this morning. You came too early. You came too late. That's not it." So it's one of those things.
So like bourbon cola float, it's gone. That's a fossil.
Gone.
It's a very flavorful fossil, but
both of these are fossils though too. The Dolce de Leche.
You won't fight. So I will tell you right now, I think the easiest way for me to keep up with y'all is I subscribe to your mailing list. So when y'all release a single barrel, then I can actually look at it and go, okay, maybe I should stop by. Or I can ask somebody to stop by and pick one, because when y'all take it out, it's already gone before even it hit the shelf because of how bad is it. And that's so widely so different.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who come up with these names, but I don't know if the name that tricks my brain before I drink it. But I had it, and I'm like, it does taste like cola.
Yeah,
The name of this is Bourbon Cola Float, and it does taste like cola. I'm like, they tricked my brain because I read it before I drink it. I'm like, it does taste like cola.
The way we go about this, the way it's handled, when we have barrels that we think are ready for the single barrel program, usually myself, John Wadle, who's our single barrel curator, he handles the barrel selections outside of Kentucky Peerless. And our morning distiller, Nick Cleve, we're going to sit down, we're going to grade out, and we're going to say, okay, which ones are great representatives for John to sell into the market? And then we have a few that we are like, okay, these are like the 4 or 5 that we want to sell here. Typically at that point, I'm going to sit down with Peyton Beal, who's our retail manager, and I'll have my notes, and together me and her will collaborate on names. Me and Cordell Lawrence, who's our director of marketing, will come up with graphics. We'll turn that over to Katie Andes, who is an in-house graphic designer, and she'll translate the images that we've kind of cued into the images that make it onto the bottle.
A really good question came in.
Okay.
They want to know how many unique single barrel are you guys releasing? Are you selling through the gift shop typically a month? People try to make the operation in their head to choose when they come into visit.
Okay. So typically what we'll do is the lifespan of a barrel that's going to be in retail is typically 2 weeks.
Okay.
Sometimes we'll have
Caleb, the lies you are here telling.
I was gonna say.
Caleb, the lies you are here telling. You know it's only 7 days. On a good days, maximum is 4 days. If you're lucky, 7. If you really make it through, and maybe people didn't hear about it so much, then you'll make those 2 weeks you're talking about. Because I know some barrels that actually, one was, I think the first time you all released, I was in the middle of the pandemic.
The chocolate covered cherry one?
Yes.
Yep.
And something about peach something.
Yep.
Grilled peaches.
Peaches
on the grill.
Yeah. And the first time they released in the middle of the pandemic. And I'm like, okay, call a buddy of mine here. I said, okay, do you mind stopping by? This peach thing, I want to taste bourbon that tastes like peach. And he came here. That was 5 hours after the email. And he said, I don't know what you're talking about. They say they have none of that. I said, what you mean?
I can dig around and see if I have one of these fossils if you want to try.
I want to try it. I want to try because those are one that are so particular that you guys came up with them. And I feel like, as much as the pandemic affected sometimes, it brought some genius and some time for people to really release some of things that you really had nothing to do else, but you have time to really work on some of this craft. So averagely, how does one, I know there's a few store owners that follow us here, how does one can apply to actually come and be, pick one of your single barrels? It'd be nice for them to know.
So they're going to be working with John Wadle, who's our single barrel curator. I can't remember his exact email address.
Is Wadle. You can find Wadle anywhere, Mr. Stylish Single Barrel Picker.
Yes, Sir John Wadle.
Yes, sir. It's Sir John Wadle on IG.
Yes.
Y'all can find him.
Yeah, and if you reach out to him through that, we do have a wait list.
Bother him.
And what we've been doing is we've been purposely rewarding accounts who have been really good to us, supporting our small batch rye and in bourbon and markets that it is available. And typically that's how we judge, is this an account that we are able to support? Because we have more requests than we have barrels. So it's making sure that we are making it to the people who have really taken a vested interest in helping us. We want to return that favor. Which one did you try?
Heirloom candy?
The heirloom candy.
It's I described it earlier today. It's like an old school.
I was drawn to it because how dark it is, and it's proof. I mean, look at that. This is like, what is this? How old is this guy?
Let me look at it.
You'll know. I can spin the bottle around 100 times.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that was, at the time it was bottled, almost 5 years old.
Look how dark that is.
The fuck is that? It's a flavor profile.
But
at the
It's
same time,
and it's almost
It's-
115
Here,
proof.
let me go ahead and grab a little.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is exceptionally bright. It's not super oaky. It's got like this herbal lemon.
It's literally
limoncello.
citrus pepper.
Limoncello is the perfect way
Yeah.
to put it.
Yeah.
Perfect way to put it.
Citrus pepper.
It's like lavender,
Lavender,
limoncello.
yeah.
A lot of honey too. I get tons of honey on
Honey.
this.
I mean, it's sweet. It's candy. Is somebody want to know? Are you guys using 50 gallon, 53 gallon barrels?
Yep. Everything
Okay.
we do is in the standard 53-gallon barrel.
53 gallon barrel. So you you get a barrel pick. You have about what 200 and some bottles out of
Usually
your
around
barrel.
200.
Yeah.
So in addition to the pretty little label we put on the side
Sure.
with their name, I always go through and I put a few notes on the side as well.
Citrus candy.
So this was citrus candy, botanical garden, and toasted sugar were the 3 notes for the side of it. And again, at a mild 114.3 proof.
114, but it doesn't
Don't
even
drink like
it.
it. Don't drink like it.
This thing is delicious.
Oh man.
This is just delicious. This is just beauty in a cup.
You know what's interesting, Caleb, is
Yeah.
I think it's amazing how much your whiskey's evolved in the last year.
Mhm.
Because up until the middle of the pandemic, I was not crazy about your guys' whiskey. It just didn't. I felt like it wasn't fully developed for like what I enjoy in whiskey.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, just like bottle after bottle after barrel, the stuff you guys are
Something
putting out.
happened.
Something happened.
Did you guys hit
Bangers.
maybe barrels that were much older? And
So for Kentucky Peerless, every single thing you get from us is made in house.
Sure.
It passes through our still. It is handled by our distillers. It's barrels that we move. So with that being said, when we started production in 2015, we didn't have 10-year-old product to start with.
Sure.
So as we went, once we got above 4 years in age, we actually pulled the age statement off the bottle because at that phase, we were able to actually select what is mature, what is ready. So some of these are going to be 4 years in a couple weeks.
yeah,
Some of these are going to be 6 years old.
yeah.
So instead, it's allowing us to it's taking off the handcuffs. We're picking from an older barrel population, but we're not specifically beholden to that. We're actually able to select what is going to be the best, what's the most mature, what's going to be the diverse. And as a result, I think it's making our products better, both small batch and bourbon.
What would you say?
I saw you. We were at Westport. I saw you, ran into you.
Yep.
And I remember it was right before it was probably like a month or two before your bourbon come out. And I said, "Hey, when are you going to have bourbon?" And I still, like to this day, I tell the story. And you had the best answer. You say, "When it's ready." Out of any response that you can give to anybody for any brand or any product or whatever is being produced, that's the best answer. When's it going to be ready? Or when's it going to be out? When it's ready.
Well, I have the easiest job in the world in that regard, as far as I am not in a bind as far as saying I have to hit this number of cases by this date. Instead,
Sure.
Corky just wants me to uphold his family's legacy of quality at the pace that is sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
So we pick barrels. We don't pick barrels.
Mm-hmm.
We find something that's ready. We don't find something that's ready. I'm under no pressure here. It's just, hey, what's this barrel going to do? And it sounds like a cop out, but it's actually just pretty simplistic.
It is true.
If it's not ready, don't
not ready.
process it.
Yeah.
And
Now, I will say at first I was a little nervous on the bourbon because, of course, you always want to put your best foot forward.
yeah.
Sure.
You always want to showcase, like, okay, here we go. This is an amazing product right out of the gate. And I think we pulled it off. But at the same time, you're always nervous because, okay, how are these barrels going to mirror up with those barrels? It's like you're assembling a jigsaw puzzle, but you have no idea what the picture is.
Correct.
Right.
No, you guys do. I will tell you right now, on Whiskey Row, you're walking by, you're on Whiskey Row. You want to stop by Peerless to check out their single barrel, because I truly believe you guys are putting in a lot of work. Somebody asked, and I'm sure you
don't limit it to the gift shop. I mean, when you see a store pick like Westport Wine Whiskey, for instance,
Correct.
or Liquor Barn, or any of the amazing accounts, not just in the state of Kentucky, but wherever we're distributed.
Yeah.
Those are accounts that John Wadle has took specific care in to make sure that they have
something badass. And I'll tell you right now, I tasted one of your double oaked rye at $7.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And I'm like,
oh, that double oaked rye.
I'm like, this is not Peerless. I literally said that. I'm like, no, this is not Peerless. Somebody's lying to me. This is not Peerless. That's literally how I felt. Because
and what did you think it was?
Profile.
Yeah.
I really thought it was like wild turkey.
I take that as a compliment.
I really thought it was.
That's good.
Let me charge this computer before it goes out. I really thought so. I'm like, this doesn't taste like that because the flavor profile was so different. So I think the genius of what you guys do is the ability to not be shy, to be bold,
to be different,
to be bold in your single barrel choice. And a lot of people can't claim that.
Well, we're not afraid to throw a note out there that somebody may not like, or someone. Everybody has their own preferences. I'll tell you of these. There are some. I mean, this is a bad example because I actually like all these. but I kind of have a spare. My job kind of depends on that. But when we have a selection in here, and John is whining and dining, has some world-class tasters, several of them all together. Mm-hmm. There is nothing more rewarding than putting 3 really good barrels in front of some aficionados and just watching them bicker over which one is better or worse. And they will want to fight each other by the time it's said and done. Because you'll have one in there who's he's an oak head, he loves oak, get out of his face, that's what he wants. Another person's like, ooh, well, this one has like some complex like herbal, berry, bitter element to it. And then you'll have someone else who's just going after the sweet, buttery one, and they're all at each other's throats. And nobody's arguing over what's good or bad. It's just what their preferences are.
Sure.
Let's talk barrel.
Okay.
How do you guys choose barrels? You have which cooperage, if it's not proprietary? I can't use that word.
Proprietary.
I'm going to get into this mixed berry meringue now.
Mixed berry meringue.
Yep. It is not proprietary. We're actually quite proud. We work with a cooperage named Kelvin.
Everybody knows Kelvin Cooperage.
Nice. So they're located just south of town. It's a whole 15-minute drive to and from there. And one of the things that really drew us close to them, not only their quality of barrel, but the way they make it. Mm-hmm. So they're going to utilize a lot of hand techniques. It's very the same way we're an artisan distillery. Mm-hmm. They are an artisan cooperage.
I'm just trying. I know you've tasted them all. I didn't want to. I did. Yep, perfect.
I can take a sip. So
this is the mixed berry meringue.
Oh my God!
Berries and cream, isn't it?
Oh my God, Caleb, go play in traffic. This is delicious.
Go play in traffic. I have not heard that before.
Oh my God, this is so good.
And you guys are only 7 years old.
6 years old.
Yes. And that's the one thing.
Our oldest barrels are 6 years old.
So that's the one thing I have to give y'all is that's why I was asking about barrels.
Yes.
Because I need to understand how this is happening. So you guys have your in-home brick house.
Yes.
I'm assuming.
Well, let me touch on the barrel one more time just to finish it. So when they are actually charring and toasting their barrels, they do it atop an oak fire. So a lot of places will use infrared heat or will utilize natural gas, which has its own odors, its own flavors, its own aromas that it can produce when it interacts.
Oh, so they're cooking oak barrels with oak.
Yes, it's novel.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
But there is no outside interaction. There's no other chemical. There's no flavor that can be imparted from the charring material. So what we like to select is a medium toast, which means it's a very slow smoldering heat that's going to deeply penetrate in the oak, caramelizing a ton of the sugar without burning it away. It's as if you're making caramel on the stove. If it is a beautiful amber color, it's sweet, it's good, it's flavorful, It's complex. But when you actually do a char, you have the ability, you can burn some of that away. So that slow penetrating heat of that medium toast, and then we use not an alligator char, but a step shallower with the number 3 that preserves a ton of that red layer, which is where some of these really complex, not fruity notes, but the caramels, the butterscotches, the cinnamons, the vanillas, all those are coming from that red layer that we've preserved, and we haven't burned or scorched all that away.
So the question comes in play is, you're now 6 years old. You produce an amazing barrels out on your single barrel. You obviously are coming up with a more stuff out there. You're using sweet mash, which means every day you can use, your yeast may be acting a little different.
What actually normalizes that? See, when you talk about using a sour mash, which is typically a propagated yeast that's then being spread, you have a lot more variability. Where we start with fresh dormant yeast every single time, they should have the same interaction.
Okay, it's more consistent, right?
In our opinion, it requires a lot more cleaning, a lot more effort to make sure that the mashes are going to be similar. But I would say for our facility, we could do a sweet mash a lot more consistently than we could a sour.
Okay, so
sorry to interrupt.
No. So
looking at what the next victim is going to be.
real question will be,
okay,
are you working on experiments?
Yeah, of course. I have not been released to talk about it yet.
Okay.
But
I mean, this would be a Monday Suck special.
I would look forward.
You know what? Let me re-ask this question.
Okay.
If you had your choice,
yes,
to work on an experimental barrel or version of your juice,
okay,
what would be your choice?
Ooh. And you're really putting me in a vice on
No, I'm just saying, because you are a master distiller, which means it's free game for you. You truly are the person behind the puppet, right? You are the person that guides how things go. So if you are an artiste, right? French people will call you an artiste. You are the one who designed how the orchestra runs, so we can enjoy good music. Yes. So if you are experimenting with something, I want to know, would you be rolling into?
Okay, I know something I can talk about.
Yes, here we go. All right,
okay.
Go ahead.
So last year we released our very first barrel finish. All these single barrels, none of these are barrel finishes. The copper, yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't want to come into just dip my toe into the pool of the barrel finishing, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to take a sweet fruity product that's got complex notes and finish it in a sweet fruity product that's got complex notes. I didn't want to put light notes with light notes. I wanted to jump way out there, something different, something
be crazy and all out.
Yes. So we did and it wasn't even our intention to start with barrel finishes. But when I had the opportunity to work with Copper and Kings, they invited me down, and I sat down. I tried. I had a medicine dropper, and I took little bits of every product they had, and I figured what I liked and what I disliked. And I landed on, I wanted the first product we did to be an absinthe finished rye. So the licorice, the candy, the anise, it was just bold and sweet and complex, and it hit on a lot of notes that the rye didn't.
Do you know the funny thing? How I found out about yours?
How's that?
So the Drummers Club, in New York, visited Copper and King, and they were told to come here because their absinthe that they have there, you guys were finishing your barrel, and so that bottle was just out that same day, and from here he was coming to Nebraska to come visit. So that bottle came with him, and he's like, okay, I know you know your whiskey, but I'm going to serve you something. I just need you to close your eyes and tell me if you can tell what distillery this came from. Serve me. I knows it. I'm from a French country, so I know absinthe. And I knows it. And I said, that's why I told people, do not bet on Peerless if it comes to blind tasting.
It's true.
You're gonna lose.
It's true.
I had a taste of it, and I'm like,
we did really good impressions.
Yeah, he did. He did tell me he just came back from Indiana, Kentucky. So I'm sitting there going, that's probably crazy, Alan. I go,
and Alan has the absent finish as well.
I know.
Yeah.
So I'm there. I'm like, you know what? I got this. And he goes, what is it? I go, Spirit of French Lick. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And Alan loved making absinthe. That's what it's going to be. And he looked at me and he goes, no, Peerless. I go, get out of town. Peerless doesn't have any barrel finish. So there's no way. It's like oh, au contraire. Right? He's like, au contraire, sir. They just finished your first barrel, and that's how I knew about your barrel finish.
So that was our first one, but there's more. There's more on the horizon.
No. Okay.
All right.
So yeah. Later this year, I am anticipating doing a bourbon.
Okay.
We've only done rye and absinthe so far, and that's only been 4 barrels. So yeah, we're gonna have some bourbon finishes.
So somebody asked, what barrel finish would you like to do the most? That maybe you're not being allowed to yet, but what barrel?
I don't know if I'll answer this question.
would you like to do that? It's not me. The audience are asking.
Okay.
What barrel pick would you like to do the most? Like you want to do it, but maybe you haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
But really, as you sit at home, you're like, I feel like barrel finish are like choosing your shirt for the day. You're like, you know what? I know I'm gonna look good in red today.
Okay. How about this? I'm gonna give you just enough information where you can
Monday socks.
Monday socks exclusive.
How about this? If you think about the barrel finish we did with the absinthe, you're inspired by the Sazerac cocktail where you have that
a little bit of absinthe on the corner,
yeah,
some citrus and some
that's right, yeah. So that's a Sazerac. What if I told you the next one would be more of the one I have in mind that I most want to do would be inspired by the old fashioned, where you have like nice citrusy, sugary component that complexes with the bourbon.
Okay.
The wheels are turning.
Yeah, the wheels are turning.
Okay.
I'm sitting here. I can think about all of it.
Okay.
All of it, the ingredient in an old fashioned. So imagine having an old fashioned that is a full bourbon.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's the way the absinthe finish and rye was when you actually tried it. I mean, you had probably 75% of the profile of the Sazerac just neat in a glass. Oh, and it was dangerous. It was dangerous.
All he needed was ice.
Never got to try it.
Never got to try it.
All he needed was ice.
Oh.
That's all he needed. It was ice.
It's gone but not forgotten. We'll have.
I know. I still have my bottle and unopened because
you hook him up.
I keep it in the museum. That is just it's just one of those. I'm like, oh, Peerless never had a barrel finish, so obviously,
So we've got some not one but several barrel finishes on the horizon.
Okay. But let's talk about barrel finish. Barrel finish, all of a sudden, it became a little more gimmicky, right? A lot of people are finishing in unicorn barrels, in African starving kids from African tears barrels, kids dying of cancer barrels. It's like people trying to make the barrel finish to sound so unique in so much ways that barrel finish is becoming in the industry a little gimmicky. How do you, as a master distiller, do you come and go, you know what? I'm Caleb. I do what I want something that the consumer can. When you want to pick a barrel, like you describe how you did with Castle and Key, how do you? And this is just getting into your brain here. What's your process behind it? What do you tell yourself to say? Peerless is not going to release it and somebody go, oh my God, not another Africa. You're like, oh my God, not another, lost barrel,
I think for us, it's just as long as it's something that we are genuinely behind and genuinely excited about, I don't think we run into that territory. Okay. I mean, when you see a barrel in front of you that was heirloom candy.
Mm-hmm.
I get excited when I taste this.
Sure.
So I think as long as we use ourselves as the test dummies of, man, is this just putting out a product to do a product? No. I mean, when me and Nick and John are sitting around the table and we come across something, the absolute best interaction you can have when we're sitting around that tasting table is when we get to just the nose and we immediately said, this one's in.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Nice.
we just get so excited about it, and it has different notes and aromas.
Do you guys do it blind?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll know the serial number on it,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll say we don't really care. We try to limit the information because when you're sitting down and you have serial numbers just whizzing past you like crazy, you're not actually rooting or root for or against any barrel. It's just what's there.
What works?
Sure.
Which one you trying?
That's the hardest work on the planet right now. This is your raspberry mocha. So we're talking red fruit, espresso, and dark chocolate.
So I'm going to go ahead and start picking it apart a little bit. You can usually tell a lot about someone's preferences by the single barrels they really get excited about.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you like. I actually already know your profile.
What's my profile?
You like that earthy sweet.
I think
Sweet.
from
herbal.
what I've gathered, you are more of you like what I like earthy through tea, Earl Grey.
He's herbal. He's
herbal profile is what you like, because I could see your face when we were talking about which one, not this one. The heirloom. Because the way you talked about it, I'm like, I would have never thought of heirloom candy. When I talked about that, I would have described this more as if somebody asked me personally, I would have looked at it and went, sweet tea.
Yep.
Spicy sweet tea. That's what I would have put.
That's actually a really good descriptor.
So spicy sweet tea is what I would have put
like
it.
a spiced Arnold Palmer.
Correct, Arnold Palmer. So,
yeah.
But you particularly, you're more of that green, earthy, embrace more of the earthy side of things. But truly, let me see here. No.
We didn't want to talk to them.
We didn't want to talk to them anyway.
Are we on the money? Or are we?
Are we wrong or are we wrong?
The notes that I tend to gravitate toward are going to be the ones that are a little more. I tend to like smoky, caramelized. See, it's hard because I like all these. So I'll have when I like the smoky, earthy, leathery hay. Like I'll like that one. Which you haven't got to it yet, but Urban Cowboy.
That's somebody just said that. Somebody says, seriously, hope you sample the Bourbon Cowboy.
Yes.
And right here is the Bourbon Cowboy. That's gonna be the next one.
Yeah.
So every one of your consumer gotta have their favorite.
Yeah. But these are all my children. I can't.
They're
ones I like more than others. But I'll have.
You know what? Let's put the tagline is Peerless is creating Pokemon. You gotta catch them all if you really want them all.
I love that.
Right? Y'all are creating Pokemon.
I mean, I was that generation.
You do have to catch them all, because if you missed out on like I did on the what do you call it, the vanilla dreamsicle, right, or the mixed berry, or the hot toddy, or the bourbon, it's almost like if you missed it, you missed it.
Yeah.
But you got to go in the wild, and I'm sure somewhere in the wild, somebody on their shelf have all these.
Yep.
And you just have to pick it up, or got to catch them all, try them all. And it's an honor for us to be here today and be trying all
So
these.
for me, I end up, like every time we come out with a round, usually we'll sit down, we'll select 4 to 6 at a time, and we'll go send them up. And among those, I'll end up with like these 2 or 3 are really good standard single barrels, but this one's different. Like it's just fundamentally different. So like mixed berry meringue there, it just berries and cream and sweet, and it just its texture doesn't even feel right.
It's a lot of that berry note that when you let me try that distillate when I first got here.
Yeah.
That shows up. It's there that showed up in that distillate that I got to try.
So like the Bourbon Cowboy is like, it's leathery, it's hay, it's more traditional notes. But when I get something that is so far out there, like my favorite barrel pick ever. Let's go ahead and talk about it. What's that? Oh, the raspberry in that.
You can feel that dark chocolate in the back of your throat.
I get lots of fruit.
That dark chocolate just stays.
I get lots of fruit and espresso, and then a little bit of baker's chocolate at the end.
Dark chocolate, like for me, it's like taking a shot.
But it's not
of coffee.
sweet. It's like baker's, dark, gritty. It's like the dark side of what chocolate is.
Guess what? Somebody said they literally just love Peerless. They have been able to achieve flavor in limited amount of time that no one else have ever done.
Thank you. I love you all too.
Just Whiskey said Caleb is amazing. Apparently, you are a celebrity. So
no, this isn't a me thing. This is a me thing.
Yeah, it is. Why do you think we're here?
Yeah, Caleb is a celebrity. Everybody loves Caleb. Just Whiskey just say Caleb is awesome. So
thank you, Just Whiskey.
People that have been in the whiskey blogging and industry obviously respect your work. That's what you do. So you're not full of shit. You actually do what you do. You're good at what you do. So you do deserve your term of your title of master distiller, not masturbator, but master distiller.
Does he really have a plan?
You know
yes,
what?
He probably really does.
This is
Alan, if you're listening, I love you, man.
Alan Bishop as a person is probably the most. I don't care what you have against people that keep it real, but Alan is probably the most non-politically correct.
Yeah.
Straight to the point individual that he reminds me of grandfathers, right? It's like your grandpa. He been in Vietnam. He don't give a shit about anything, and he just say things like it is. He may come out wrong sometime, but he don't give a shit.
He used to stack up 10.
You know that,
like, Grandpa, you can't say that.
It's like, you know what? He's just a sack of shit. I said what I said because they're just
the filter's gone.
Yeah, they're honest about who they are. They do not, I like to call it pussy fiddle about people or how they do anything. It's just who they are, and you love them or you don't like them, but they will be who they are 100%. So I asked him to do a thing about Monday Sucks. We have a thing that I post about Monday Sucks, and he asked me, can he put his hand sign that he put out on Monday Sucks? I said, I don't know.
What was his hand?
It's like he have the, what did he call it?
Two in the pink.
Yeah,
two in the stink.
Yes.
Or the shock, you could say
shocker. Yeah, the shocker. It's like, can I put the shocker in the video? That was his first. I can't do the video. I'm busy. It's like, as long as I can do the shocker in the video, I'm good. Put it on Monday side. This is how it is. But again, I like to tell people that it's truly about personality.
Yeah.
Right. Your personality, obviously. I like to say when I see what was produced here, kind of a happy guy.
I'm very happy.
See,
I'm bubbly.
You're a happy guy.
Yeah. I think that's very fair. I think I'm annoyingly happy for the people who I work around a lot of the time.
So the podcast say they're able to tour with you early when they were just filling barrels. Could tell there was a bright future with what y'all are doing.
Well, thank you.
So people pay attention to what you do. You may not know this, but people do pay attention.
Trying the Bourbon Cowboy
to what you do.
So this is more traditional. It's gonna be earthy, leathery. Has like this little lingering smoke. And Mom is a big John Travolta fan. So she'd always reference Urban Cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And so I can't resist a good pun.
Urban Cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because it's leathery, it's got this grass, it's got the hay, it's got that little smoke hanging in the air, that haze.
But we have to put Caleb on the spot.
Okay.
Let's say you can only drink one bourbon for the next 6 months.
Okay.
What would you drink? And it cannot be your product.
That's fine.
Can be your product. You did one bourbon for the next 6 months. You only get one. So pick one. It doesn't matter the price. Doesn't matter the age. Doesn't matter anything. It's just that one bourbon for the next 6 months.
Just for clarification,
Mm-hmm.
is it a SKU or is it one particular?
There's none, just one bourbon.
Because for me, I love single barrels because they are very different. I would get bored if I was doing just a small batch for the whole so many months.
Correct.
But if I say, okay, it's Russell's Reserve, that's what I want to try.
But the single barrel.
The single barrel. Does that mean that it's multiple iterations of different single barrels?
Just Russell Reserve. So that's what you'll be drinking.
Russell Reserve single barrels.
There you go.
Let's go with that.
I told you when I picked that. I thought it was Wild Turkey.
Yep.
Because I bet you, because you probably understand that taste profile. It's crazy that I thought first that's what you're producing, but
they have a lot of the similar ideals. The low
as you have.
They do low barrel entry proof.
Mm-hmm.
They have a very grain forward distill. They go ahead and push the envelope and do that low distillation proof, and they do it with expert precision because it is not easy when you're doing the sour mash to distill at the lower proof as well. So, in my opinion, if you sit down and you do standard product and standard product, because everybody has like their high volume, this is what this distillery produces.
Correct.
And then they have smaller volume, more prestigious. But if you just judge based on those, I love what Jimmy produces, what he does. Of course, the little fanboy in me doesn't hurt that he is the GOAT. He is the greatest.
He is the greatest of all time.
No doubt.
The one thing you have to, and that's why I appreciate about you is that you respect the art of your predecessors and what they do.
Oh goodness, they've paved the way. I mean, this is not something that bourbon has been on the top of the mountain for the past 80 years. No, when you look at the way our forefathers inherited the industry when it was at its lulls, when it was at the low, they weathered the storm. They reinvented the industry in a way where we could have a podcast talking about, in essence, what should be all similar products that have very minute differences that showcase in very different ways with flavors. I mean, this was not the industry that they grew up in. When Jimmy was a young distiller, when he was 30 or whatever, he didn't have this.
Right.
So you have to give it to them. They endured more to achieve more in an industry that they loved when no one else did. They created this. So you have to take your
in the hood. We say on God. On God.
On God. Put it on God.
That's as true as it could come. And
I'm going to grab another single barrel for you to taste since we're tasting the Foster's anyway.
Yes.
You know what? I still think
do you have a winner?
I think the mixed berry meringue is the best thing.
I think the raspberry mocha.
Raspberry mocha is right behind it.
It's right is out there.
Okay. So this is I mentioned how I end up having favorites of a set as they would be released. So this is one called Elderberry Manhattan, 116.2 proof.
Okay. That's the highest proof I've seen out of any of your barrels.
I think this is the second highest we've ever done.
Wow. Okay. Hey, what entry level do you guys go into at the barrel?
We go into the barrel at 107 proof.
Okay. So the fact that hit that proof is pretty impressive.
Yes. Like it took some climbing.
Yeah.
It's on Price is Right. It hit that little yodeling to go on up.
Yep.
The most obscure yet relatable reference I could make.
So another thing we have to keep in mind is these are your legacy. Are you guys building a museum? Are you guys building like a room where you can lay out each one of these barrels?
We have not.
These single barrels?
We should,
okay, I will take the check. You can write it to me later on for coming up with the idea of you guys actually holding on to each of these single barrels that you guys come up, because I believe that is your legacy, kid. You know, that is your legacy. Well, that is something that you put out there. That would be
when I come across the ones that I get really excited about, I'll usually get a bottle and stash it back. But I think one of everyone would be nice.
It's having a wall for it.
But I will say we're not quite on par with many of the bulk size distilleries that are like with every paycheck here's a bottle. It's something that'd be out of pocket.
I know, but it's crazy that because you truly, 6 years is a lot, and if last year have showed us anything, we need to hold on to things we care dear about, right? We like, and
this is if someone said, "What is Caleb like?" This is what I pour for them. It's
like fruit bitter reduction with like this hint of smoke. It's got this crystallized sugar almost.
It's got a little bit of earthiness on the tail.
A little bit of honey.
Wow.
I never finished my thought earlier on my favorite barrel.
Mm-hmm.
It was one named
right there.
Mm-hmm.
It was one named Rye Tie.
Right.
It's a 3-year-old rye.
Okay.
It had like this intense, like spiced Caribbean rum almost quality to it. It was smoky. It was just it did not taste like rye whiskey. And that, even though technically if I were to sit down and have a 1 to 10 scale and grade it on nose and palate and finish and all these different things and nitpick it, it probably wouldn't even be top 20 as far as my highest grade. But the uniqueness of it it was my favorite experience. And that's what I think that we've done really good with these different barrels with Peerless in general is it's not a fifth of whiskey. It's the experience. It's the name. It's the association with who we are, where we've been, and where we're going. That I think that we've been really good on communicating to people.
That is true. Somebody said, what would you pair the Bourbon Cowboy with?
Bourbon Cowboy. So when I'm pairing, I like going across the flavor wheel. I wouldn't say, okay, this is leathery and earthy, and so you need to put it with something really grainy and earthy. No, I'm going to go on the opposite side to actually do a nice complement. So for me on Bourbon Cowboy, let me help myself.
I like Caleb. He's straight to the point.
So for me, I was thinking like a little apple tart or crumble. That way you can actually pull out some of the earthiness from the oatmeal or the grain.
Okay.
But heighten it with that citric sweetness from the apple to really heighten it and transcend where the profile naturally is. That way you have like this leather, apple, tart, earthy.
Somebody say what type of meat when you grill.
Oh, let's see. Well, anytime you're dealing with high proof spirits, you got to go fatty. It is really hard to do.
Pork chop or nice steak.
Pork chop or ribeye.
Pork chop. Pork chop or ribeye.
I think that filet would get lost with it.
Yeah.
Way too lean.
Yeah. Pork chop or ribeye. Somebody say you should stash 10 bottle a case of your favorites every time. You would thank yourself in 10 years from now if you stash a case of every single barrel that you actually release.
Yeah, tasting Bourbon Cowboy. Yeah, apple crumble.
Yeah,
maybe cherry. I'm not sure. Combination, half and half.
So somebody wants y'all to bring more of your stuff in Maryland. They say, I would love to try more of your single barrel. I'm hoping to find more at some point in Maryland. So we have an audience from everywhere in America.
We really do.
Well, best one is Alaska.
Yep.
Because we have a lot of people in Alaska.
Really?
Stan is in Alaska. He watched the show. He's probably one of the most faithful people I have. Alaska. A lot of people from my side in Europe that actually always, when they're traveling, try to find a way here to be able to pick up a few stuff. Because even though Europe, single malt is what I speak mostly. But when we come to bourbon, bourbon is kind of the coolest new thing on that. I would definitely suggest that Peerless, you guys need to be on the list of the import of bourbon. Maybe make one barrel that you're importing because I can tell you.
We've worked with the British Bourbon Society.
Okay.
They've selected barrels. They've done imports. Obviously, with the tariffs, we can't have a massive footprint.
Correct.
But we can get to the right people right now.
I'm telling you.
But as soon as that comes down, we're very excited to expand our
I will
international.
tell you right now because there's a few people in Europe that would die for your product. because
Well, they don't have to die for it.
no.
They just have
What
to
I'm
buy
saying
it.
is they just love it so much because do you know? I was reading. Who was I talking with? I was talking with. I was speaking with. I was speaking with a friend of mine, with Matt Bourbon Cheaper.
Yeah.
And Bourbon Cheaper said, "Do you know that the top 3 whiskey served at bars were actually American whiskey?" Bourbon.
Really?
So what is happening in the industry is that bourbon is being more popular in Europe because we used to it here, and mostly people are using single barrels, right? To actually, they want to try that because it's so unique.
Yeah.
And we are embracing obviously single malt here because American single malt is coming here. But as far as finishes are concerned, more bourbon people are trying to finish their bourbon in, art bag and something crazy as single malt finished barrel. And a lot of single malt people are trying to use something like your barrel or something to kind of finish or to mature their single malt.
Sure.
So there's this weird thing that's happening where import is like, I take Peerless back to the UK or France. I'm literally
You're a rock star.
I'm a rock star right now because it's not single barrel. It is not a single malt. It's bourbon and it's America, and it's something that is so particular that they taste and they go, wow. So every time I see your single barrel program, all I think about is, wow, it would be crazy, And even me, I kind of underestimated Peerless because I'm like, okay, you guys are
it's
young.
fair.
What else what can you really do?
That's why I said what I said earlier. Yeah, I definitely underestimated you guys.
I think it is time to set the record straight today and say that Peerless truly is releasing amazing product.
Yeah,
and the youngest distiller in the world right now is the one
that
producing
we know of. I'm sure
that we know.
Oh
yeah, but he can come on Monday Sucks and claim his title if he wants to. But for now, for all we know, as far as Monday Sucks is concerned, you are producing something so special, that the world needs to pay attention to, because I don't know, I really do not know how you did all this, and they're so wildly different.
They are.
Would you agree?
No,
it's like having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 siblings. It's like y'all are so different in personality. I can't put y'all together.
Our whiskey has a schizophrenic personality.
Oh,
so it's all over the place.
Best way to put
again,
it.
I will correct you. You said I've done this. This is not something I've done. This is the Taylor family, the team, the tasters, the tour guides.
So humble.
When you come into Peerless, I mean, it really is the enthusiasm that I'm talking about and excited about here. It's the same one you're going to get with the person greeting you through the front door, the person receiving packages at the back of the building from UPS. I mean, it's everyone in between is just, we're passionate.
For all of you guys that don't know, Kentucky is open.
Yep.
Yes.
We are officially 100% open.
Kentucky's officially open. So he's here. Right?
Yep. We do tours.
If you're coming in Kentucky, as far as Whiskey Row is concerned, do not. You have legacy brands that are out there, but do not ignore.
Dude, I would say the 2 biggest things that get passed on the regular is Peerless and the Fraser Museum.
Correct. And I will tell you right now, you want to stop at the Fraser Museum, which is down the street, and then you want to come at Peerless, because I promise you, you are not going to regret it.
Hey, we have a parking lot. You can park here, walk there, and walk back.
There you go.
Mean, it's not far.
There you go.
On God.
There you go.
On God. So this is truly something that is so special to me. When I came here, Andrea Merriweather is the one who actually brought me here, and when I actually tried, I'm like,
Andrea is awesome.
Andrea, she just said you are very awesome.
Say you're top notch.
Yeah. So truly, it's something that I will say is so You guys are what people need to see when it comes to new distilleries that are doing something so different that you actually almost have to come here and make space in your luggage to get a couple of bottles with you to actually go home with.
You can check a bag with Kentucky Peerless or any of the amazing whiskeys from here in Kentucky.
I know. So I will tell you right now. Now let's come to the best part of the show.
Yes.
The best part of the show.
That doesn't suck.
Oh, look at that! Advice that doesn't suck.
Okay.
Right? So when you come on Monday suck, that's truly what we want. Because Monday sucks, everybody's stressed on Monday. I haven't met anybody
Some people
else.
on a Monday discover that they're doing a podcast.
See, Caleb he's just too excited about who he is. But on Mondays, things just don't go the way you always planned it.
Doesn't mean they suck, because it's actually been really fun.
Yes. So we make it suck less.
Yes.
That's what Monday Sucks is here for, is to make it suck less. So on Monday, we always give advice that doesn't suck. Because if your Monday went to shit, you don't like it, your boss is terrible, your kids are terrible, your wife don't like you, or nobody actually likes you, guess what? We're going to give you one advice on this show that does not suck. And you're going to take it it could be from your guru, your grandfather, your grandmother, or anybody out there.
And it's advice that I'm giving.
Yes. You today get to give the advice that does not suck.
So a little background. I grew up in a family farm environment, and 2 years before I was born, my grandfather was in a really bad accident.
Okay.
He got cut for all the non-ag people. When you have a tractor that's, I'd say the one that he got caught in was around 60 horsepower, really strong.
Okay.
It conveys all of its energy through a little tiny spinning metal shaft to an implement behind it, to something called a power takeoff.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got this unmovable rotating object. He got caught in it, ripped off his arm, not like mangled, amputated, like action figure ripped off arm, busted up both legs. He was in a really bad situation. But me growing up, I never associated him as disabled, because he wasn't. I mean, he may have had the tag, but he worked, he moved, he took one arm and was able to outwork most people had to. I never associated him as not being able to achieve something. He, even though for all intents and purposes, he could have laid down, he could have drew a check, he could have just stopped working, but instead, he actually drove a dump truck delivering shavings, horse bedding to horse farms in Lexington and across the state. With one arm, he never was able to just pick up something and do it the same way me or you would with two hands. So I constantly grew up watching him engineer around what would be his disability. Instead, it was just a challenge. So when he would go to put a tarp on a truck, instead of him being able to just crawl around on top and pull and tug and everything, he had a series of pulleys and chains and clips that he would clip and raise his tarp up and pull it into place with a handle and hook. And I just always saw him work around it, and I never heard him complain. He never talked about the immense pain that he was constantly in. He never talked about the inability to do this or that. It was always, you can get through it. You can always get over it. And that's something that wasn't just him. I've seen in my entire family, is just this notion of you are how you choose to be. Just this, the emotional responsibility of showing up and saying, you know what, Monday may suck, but I can put a smile on my face and I can make the most of it. I can't remember the scenarios you went through. My wife doesn't like me. My wife actually loves me quite a bit. She was actually just trying to call me. My child is a English Springer Spaniel. She's her puppy. She's amazing. She may chew on something at the wrong time. You can get upset about it, but it's not her fault, and it's not going to change anything. So how can we spin this? How can we make it positive? How can we be happy? And earlier in the episode, you referenced, like, I can tell by the way this is, like, you're a happy guy. You're how you choose to be. I grew up seeing people overcome adversity by simply choosing that to be their path. And I like to think I'm carrying that forward.
I'm typing this down. You are how you choose to be.
Dang. Like a little miniature Buddha drinking bourbon
Bourbon Buddha.
A Bourbon Buddha.
Someone needs to have that as a podcast.
The Bourbon Buddha.
Bourbon Buddha.
Within the next 24 seconds. Bourbon Buddha will be
you are
his
how-
username from IG.
Let me see here. Show you are how you choose to be. That's
some good
advice that
advice.
does not suck.
Some really good advice.
Advice that does not suck on Monday just became awesome.
Yeah.
You are how you choose to be. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can choose to be happy. You can choose to be sad. You can choose to be a victim. You can choose to be a winner, but you are how you choose to be.
Monday may suck, but you can choose not to suck along with it.
Oh. Swish.
Guns. Pew, 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 taking all target. Pew, pew, pew.
You know, my favorite one that goes right along with that is people can call you whatever they want. It's what you choose to respond to.
On God.
That's why you call yourself.
On God.
Ooh, there you go.
So, you know, today was kind of a long day for me. It was a very emotional day. So I don't have a lot of ideas because I'm usually the Protestant preacher around here and giving advice. But today I don't have any. I think both of you brought the best advice out there. I don't even have to add anything. Is you are how you choose to be. People can call you whatever they want. Is what you decide to respond to. That's
See, you got it easy. You can just say what they said.
What they say.
What they say.
What those
What
two
they
people
say.
say. What these two people say. So I will say right now, I promise Caleb that will be an hour and a half so he can go back to his family, have a good time, and really enjoy his Monday because this is the happiest man and distiller I've actually seen in my life. If you don't know him, his name is Caleb. He's here at Peerless. If you come to Kentucky, you working on Whiskey Row and you don't come to Peerless, you're missing out. There's names you have to remember. There's Caleb, Wado, and any beautiful person on front that smiles at you and welcome you in. Can someone, before we finish, can someone explain to me why every distillery have a goddamn cat? Somebody please explain that.
Get rid of the
Why
mice.
we have mice? Anytime you have grain stored in any situation, they just appear. And so the mice disappear when you have a cat.
Is that what?
Yeah, man.
I never understood it. I've been to multiple distilleries.
Okay.
Like, why is every distillery have a mouse? You have a cat. You have a cat in there just hanging around.
So when I grew up on a dairy farm, we had grain, we had feed. Mice show up, cats make mice not show up.
Wow.
Yep.
Never thought about that.
Yes, sir.
Never really thought about
See,
that.
when Rye, our distillery cat, was actually brought in here, we adopted her through the Feral Barn Cat program
Okay.
from Louisville Metro. It's an amazing program where they find animals that are difficult to home or would not otherwise be able to be homed, that would otherwise be euthanized. Different businesses that have an opportunity where they maybe aren't going to be the most cuddly, the most friendly, the constantly sitting in a lap to get a pet. We are able to give them a job to do and a means to a life.
There you go.
Yeah, they get the mice. Now, the irony here is, for those of you who actually know Rye, she is, for all intents and purposes, retired now. She has made the most of her opportunity, and she is accelerated way out of the Barn Cat program and is now a featured voice of Peerless. When you come into the gift shop, like she meets you at the door and she's like, "What do you need?"
What you need? I got you. I got you.
Or,
I got you. Somebody said.
But yeah.
Somebody said Tom and Jerry.
Yes, Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry. People are appreciating your advice. They say mind blown because truly, you don't think about it. I think we think of minute details usually instead of focusing on the bigger picture. And the truth here is I have to tell people, there's something to be said about visiting a distillery versus actually trying just the product, right? Because you can try any product. We are the asshole that talk about products online, so people can either buy, don't buy, make better choices. I came on and heard somebody I say every new beginner into the whiskey needs to listen to me because I'm telling y'all what is bullshit and what's true. But truly, once you visit, like I never talked about Peerless. Never talked about Peerless because brands that I hold dearly, I will not talk about them unless they put in something so great, right?
Sure.
But I will not talk about them till I visited them.
Yep.
Now I have the opportunity to go feature you and really say, Callum is the person that did this. His team and the team of Peerless really created this, and this is why you need to stop in and really check them out for what they do. Caleb, because in French we say Caleb, is Caleb.
Yes.
I've been calling him Caleb the whole time because it is not DJ Caleb, but it is Caleb. It's Cabel. Caleb. That's what we will say in
I've got family members who don't pronounce it right.
We're in Louisville, which is Louisville, which we can call you in French name, which is Caleb, which is Caleb. But
I'll answer to all of the above.
Yes, I would say thank you for hosting us, thank you for having us. I would tell y'all right now before we close all the things that we have in front of us. If you missed them or you have them, put in a comment, put an F in the chat if you have any of this. What is this one?
Vanilla Dreamsicle.
What's next?
Mixed berry meringue.
Hot toddy.
Bourbon cola float.
We got
raspberry mocha. Bourbon cowboy.
Mango rye Rita.
Oh, wait, you already said that one.
Yeah. Dulce leche.
Yep.
Heirloom. Try that one yet.
Yep. He says dessert, so that's how we finish.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we have a bourbon cowboy. So I don't know if you guys have any of these, but if you don't have them, or if you have them, you're holding a piece of art in your hand.
Yeah.
So, dessert.
Good Lord. Okay. Just mixed berry meringue.
I think that comment's for you. It's not for me. No offense. Happily married.
I didn't see the comment.
I didn't see it either.
Okay.
We get bots. You get bots.
All right. Hey, Poppy.
That's this guy. I'm sorry.
You see, because we use a different platform, we really can't do anything. We'll actually would comment and actually block them or change them, but we'll let that sit.
It sounds like a very friendly invitation.
No, thank you, I appreciate it.
Oh man.
See, you are how you choose to be. It's all how you respond to it.
Merritt is saying that there's a mango rye Rita.
It's over here.
I never even seen it. You have that?
It's right here.
He's hit it.
You've been hiding. He's been hiding. This away.
There's one hiding there.
And bring Sage Old Fashioned back.
I can't until we find another barrel that
tastes like Sage Old Fashioned.
Sage Old Fashioned.
So it's otherwise it's a square peg in a round hole. We just can't. We can't bring it together.
Dulce de leche.
These are the two that I told you about. I said, hey, whenever I see you again, this is the stuff you need to drink. It was this guy and the hot toddy. So
okay, let's try this.
Hey, let's. I didn't get to cheers
yet. Cheers, guys,
gentlemen. Thank you.
Apparently, we can't have this. It's social legal because apparently he's hiding.
We'll have it after we're done.
Yeah, he's hiding this, and I really want to thank each one of y'all for being here on this Monday, following us, and always supporting what we do. We will not be where we are without y'all. We did this live from Peerless. We are hoping to bring you more live shows and show you more in the industry what happened, because it is great to be at your home and judging the spirit. But when you know what happened in the background, the effort that was put into that spirit, you understand really, making spirit is an art.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You may love or hate it, but you still have to respect the art of the person. So on that note, I hope y'all Monday is going well. I hope y'all are having an amazing time.
Face screaming in here.
Y'all. I hope you guys actually are who you get to choose. How, you get to choose who you want to be. Doesn't matter what happened today, tomorrow, or whatever. You choose how you want to be, happy or not. It is your choice. On that note, Tim, tell the people where they can.
Single Barrel Snob on good old Instagram. singlebarrelsnob.com, modernthirst.com, whiskey news
This guy did lock it down.
Whiskey news and reviews. Hood John was good.
So, Bourbon Jeepers come on the last time. 3 men on the couch. That sounds like fun. This is the part of the show where it becomes rated.
Well, to be fair, they went through, they've tasted,
you know what?
They're socially lubricated.
Now they know what's happening. Before I actually introduce myself, Caleb, can the people follow you anywhere, see what you do?
I suppose. I know that I'm on Insta. I think I am just Caleb
he
Kilburn.
knows that he's on Insta.
I think I'm just Caleb_Kilburn.
Okay, Caleb Kilburn on Instagram.
Very, very cryptic. No fancy anything. It's Caleb with a C.
Just Caleb with a C.
And you can always check us out at Kentucky Peerless. And
you do have to follow Kentucky Peerless or follow Mr. John Waddell, Sir John Waddell.
Oh yes, between the two of us, you're going to get two very different insights into Peerless.
Yes, because when you look at John Waddell Insta,
and I'll be honest, John does a lot more content.
I know.
Me.
You see John Waddell, you're like, you know what? I want to smoke a cigar, have my cowboy hat on, and come here and enjoy my little Peerless. I don't know about but I know Peerless itself is really straightforward. New things that are coming, and you can go on their website at www.peerless.com.
And if you sign up for that email newsletter, you will be notified of
when
all
the
these
new
fun barrels
that are coming up. You can plan your trip accordingly, so you can come here, walk on Whiskey Road, and come to Peerless just like we are today, and trying all these things. You can try your own flight and truly enjoy every single moment of this. If you can find me on everywhere: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Clubhouse, TikTok. You'll find me anywhere under Hood Sommelier, HOODSOMMELER. I'm the Hood Sommelier. This was Monday Sucks. We are here live with the man, the myth, the legend himself, the youngest distiller so far that you know of, Mr. Caleb. Guys, that's it. We've done it. We've done this. We have done this. We have done this.
We have beat Monday. It no longer sucks.
It no longer sucks.
Monday no longer sucks.
This Monday no longer sucks. Thank you so much for coming.
Keep the work going.
Yes.
Make next Monday not suck. And again, thank you all for tuning in, because as much as we love sitting here and making our Monday not suck, it's really you all who are making this possible.
Absolutely.
So thank you all.
Absolutely. We won't be here without y'all. So thank y'all for coming and tuning in every Monday. We appreciate you being here. And on that note, guess what?
Cheers, dudes.
Like a fat kid in dodgeball,